The price of fortune. Darren Voss had never known ease. He lived in a cramped, mildewed studio above a 24-hour laundromat in a forgotten stretch of the city. The pipes coughed in winter. The floorboards creaked like they were tired of being stepped on. The landlord hadn't fixed the broken heater in 3 years. But Darren was used to it. He worked at a late-night diner slinging hash browns and coffee to drunks and insomniacs. And he always smiled. His best friend, Theo Mercer, had known him since grade school. Theo was the kind of guy who stayed grounded even when everything around him fell apart. They had been through layoffs, evictions, breakups, and still met every Sunday at a bench overlooking the industrial river that wound through the city like a scar. Darren talked often about making it out, not in a boastful way, but as a wish. He spoke of designing an app, maybe inventing something simple that could catch fire, maybe striking gold in the stock market, none of which he had the means or knowledge to do. Still, his hope made him magnetic. Then, one day, Darren vanished. It wasn't a slow fade. He didn't leave a message or say goodbye. He simply stopped showing up, no reply to Theo's texts, no answer on the diner's schedule, no activity online. Theo checked the hospital, then the morgue. Nothing. 2 weeks later, Theo saw Darren on television. Unknown Sky, a tech startup no one had heard of until today, has just been acquired for a staggering $6.2 billion, the anchor said. And behind it, Darren Voss, a previously unknown founder from the Bronx. Theo froze. The image on the screen showed Darren standing on a stage in a sharp black suit, smiling calmly as reporters shouted questions. He looked composed, radiant, even. But the part that struck Theo hardest wasn't what he saw. It was what he didn't. There was nothing behind Darren's eyes. 3 days later, a long black car pulled up in front of Theo's apartment. A driver stepped out and handed him an envelope. Inside, a note in Darren's familiar handwriting. "Come ride with me. No questions until we're high enough that the noise disappears." Theo climbed in. The city fell away as the car took them to the hills, to a mansion Theo had never seen before perched above the skyline, wrapped in glass, silent as a mausoleum. Darren was waiting at the door. His suit was expensive, his skin was perfect. His voice was slower, cooler, like he'd been coached to speak in half tones. Theo tried not to gape. "You did all this in 2 weeks?" "Not exactly," Darren said. "It happened all at once. One night, I was eating crackers in my apartment. The next morning, I had an offer on the table. No explanation, just a signature required." Theo frowned. "What did you sign?" Darren smiled. "Something I shouldn't have, but I was desperate, hungry." They sat in a living room too large to feel comfortable. There was no dust, no fingerprints, no signs of life, just curated decor, like a museum built for no one. Theo tried to joke. "So what's the secret? Lottery? Inheritance? Did you rob a wizard?" Darren didn't laugh. "In a way." Theo stared. "You're serious?" "I didn't write a single line of code," Darren said. "Didn't make a product. But one day I found a package on my doorstep. It contained a contract, a business license, full documentation of a startup already registered in my name. The only requirement was that I agree to terms." "What kind of terms?" "That I belong to it now. Not the company, the story, the narrative. It owns me." "Who sent it?" "I don't know, but they called it the Echo Exchange." The room felt colder. The next morning, Theo tried to Google Echo Exchange. Nothing came up, not even cached fragments. He searched Darren's new company, Unknown Sky, and was stunned to find its entire history online. Press releases dating back 3 years, staff photos, investment rounds. All of it looked real, but it wasn't. Because Darren hadn't existed to that world until 2 weeks ago. Theo went to visit their old neighborhood. No one remembered Darren. Even the diner where he had worked swore they never had a server by that name. Photos of Darren were still in Theo's phone, but his name wouldn't come up in contact searches. It was like he was slipping out of the world, inch by inch. The next time they met, Theo confronted him. "You're being erased," he said. "From the past, from people's memories. Even your old life doesn't recognize you." Darren nodded. That's the trade. I can have everything, money, power, eternal growth, but I no longer belong to history. I'm not allowed roots. Why you? Because I said yes. Theo tried to hold on. He wrote Darren letters, took photos of them together, recorded conversations. But one by one, the evidence turned to static. Audio glitched. Videos erased themselves. His memory stayed intact, but he could feel the pressure in his brain like forgetting was being forced upon him. Then, one night, Darren called. Don't fight it, he said softly. They warned me. If you hold on too tight, you might get offered the same deal. Theo paused. And what if I say no? Then you stay. You remember. But everything else in your life will feel a little more empty, because you'll have seen the kind of world that buys people's souls. Was it worth it? Theo asked. Darren hesitated. I don't know anymore. I can go anywhere, buy anything, but when I look in the mirror, I'm never sure who's staring back. The line went dead. Years passed. Theo built a quiet life. He didn't chase wealth. He worked, married, raised a daughter. But sometimes, at night, he'd wake from a dream where Darren stood beside him, reaching out with a contract printed on shimmering black paper. Theo never took it. But he always wondered. And on rare, silent nights, when the sky was especially clear and his reflection in the window looked just slightly off-fed, the echo of something forgotten. A name, a face, a price. Subscribe my channel and comment below your ideas about story.